applications of sediment modeling and portfolios build.
Guillaume, can you speak?
Yeah. Hello?
Hello? Yes, it's fine now.
Is it good now? Okay. Thanks,
Yeah, you can start. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Lena. Okay, good. So as I said, I will show you some application with sediment module implemented in CROCO. Rashid show some theoretical on the sediment, but right now it's more application. So actually, first, I need to present myself. My name is Guillaume Morvan. I'm working in Lagos. Actually, I worked a few years ago with Solène Legac. And the goal was to implement the new module of sediment called Mustang. And the idea there was to converge and to test with analytical cases. So we did that, and also I worked with other realistic applications recently with Mekong configuration on the Vietnam region. And that's it. So I move on to the next slide. So what's the motivation? So maybe I repeat what Rashid talked before. Well, the idea there is to simulate the transport of mixed different grain size. As I said, for analytical test cases, the idea is also to isolate some specific sediment processes. Actually, I won't talk about this this time, but there is some analytical test case showing some processes like flocculation or bed consolidation to show as non-cohesive behavior. Also, if you're interested to study the bed stratigraphy on the bed sediment layer, Test different bed load schemes. You can activate also morphodynamic. I put also there there's some flux interpolation schemes. I mean for bed load related to the bed load schemes, because we have implemented a new fifth order scheme to interpolate the flux of sediment. And for one of the analytical cases I will show on the next slide, it is implemented. I talk about also the evolution of the seafloor. Yeah, because could be interested for people who are interested to see what's pattern of the sediment grain distribution. Also, if I'm interested to the sediment budget, like erosion, accretion, and the effect of, for instance, multiple tropical storm events, and what the wave can produce as a result, give a more critical stress due by wave and current. So as Rashid said, is important to have the information of waves also because it gives us the information. The information of waves is extrapolated at the bottom, and then the stress is very important for sediment. And that's it. And so there's two ways to do it. There's analytical test cases. So it's cheap, low cost, and can also initiate comparison between sediment model, and that's also realistic application. What module is used in CROCO? So we have sediment USGS. So as Rashid said, we call it USGS, but it's come from Geological Survey, the Geological American Institute. So the key is sediment in capital, and the other one is Mustang. Yeah, it's from Ifremer. But we already see that. So I will first talk about the different analytical cases present in CROCO. You can activate easily on the CPPDF file. Then I will show some key to set up realistic configuration, and then I will show you some results for other realistic application. So first, this is a table. At the left, we have the column of the different test cases. The CPP key on the right, short phase, whip, soundbar, for example. And again, next, you have the USGS model. But it could be, you will see, either USGS, but also Mustang. And what the kind of process transport they're studying there. So the three first cases are dedicated for wave current interaction. So I will talk about later of soundbar test cases. And we can also activate morphodynamics. Also, you have the Dune family. Dune is mainly to study bed load processes with non-cohesive sediment. So that's it. In the analytical Dune, as I said, you can we study the different flux interpolation scheme and to fit with analytical result. So that's the thing. And next, we see the set toy. Our set toy is a set toy. It's a very cheap cases. So the first one is to study if it's fit or not the roof theory with cohesive sediment. Then the double suspension is made if you want to see the best stratigraphy and the result of a different stress or resuspension event. You have also consolidation and population for mixed bed and also not sand but also mud. And finally, you have tidal flat. Tidal flat is like I don't talk about that in this presentation. You study the tidal cycle effect on mixed bed, but you have also estuary, and I will talk about more later. And there's also realistic cases. I think it's available on the website. You have the input on the website of CROCO. So you can process this kind of realistic cases. So actually, it's made with the Mustang module. Yeah, for this, actually, I want to give some key information if you want to set up new configuration. Or maybe I forgot some information, but the main idea when you want to do that is to have a good idea of what kind of grain size you have. So to know your local environment. For that, you can also add here some measurements. Could be from boat on from experiment nearby the coast. You, as Rashid showed in the first presentation, depending of what kind of grain size your shoes, you want, you will able to study different processes. So it depends of what you are choosing actually. Also, for setup, you need to give a fraction of each material. So when I talk about equirepartition, it could be analytically. So I mean, if you had two, you begin your simulation with fraction. It's written on a name list, and then you have a spin up. Okay. When I said equirepartition, it means that you have if you have two kind of grain, it means that you are using 50% of one and 50% of the other, and then you have to process a run to reach the equilibrium. In the literature, it's possible also to have your different fraction. Could be I don't know if you can see on the picture on the right. It's from a paper from Blas et al. In 2007. It's possible also to use a relation with the bathymetry itself. So you can initial your model with that also. They're also important, like I mentioned before, the spin-up. So the spin-up could be made, depend also of the extent of your region, of your grid. I mean, for regional region, it could be spent like 1 or 2 years. If you are working on coastal region, it could be less, 3 months. You can also accelerate the bed response with the the morphological factor. When it's 1, there is nothing is by 1, and you can put more actually. And you have, as I said, an acceleration of the bed response, so it could be convenient if you want to do a spin-up. Also, an important parameter is the erosion rate. Erosion rate because it depends the erosion rate, it's grain size dependent, but you need to calibrate this parameter and on your name list because there is a wide range of value. It's a kind of the range of 1 minus 3 to 10 minus 5. So you need to fix this kind of parameter before. For that, you can also compare with satellite product like Maris on the right there. This product give the information at the surface, the suspended sediment present at the surface. So you can see, as you can see there on the left, I mean, yeah, this is CROCO on the left and satellite product on the right. And for the model on the left, you have your simulation. You can do a long simulation, and then you can see if you fit or not with the product of the Maris product. So this is one way to calibrate this parameter. This is a simple scheme. This simple scheme, I mean, it's like a recap. If you want to initialize, to set up, you create your layers. Actually, in this example, I put like 50% of each grain size, and then with the spin up, you have a different pattern appear. Okay. What we did here is to initialize our CROCO name list. So on your CROCO name list, you have to initialize your material given by runoff, by the river. By the river data you have to put the correct concentration you want to put in this region. You have to precise also. I didn't mention there, but you have to mention the module you are using, if it's USGS or Mustang. And I didn't mention, but there is a key parameter for the hydrodynamic is the bottom roughness, the ZOB. So you have to fix this parameter. It's not the roughness. This roughness is for the hydrodynamic, but if you are using like a bottom boundary layer, you can access the orbital velocity and then the stress related to this. And you have the wave current bottom stress, and that's it. That's important for the sediment. But you don't have to initialize it on the CROCO name list. And then if you are chosen the USGS module, you have to fix the number of layer thicknesses. I didn't mention the porosity, but grain diameter, your erosion rate. As I said, you have to calibrate it. Settling velocity for each grain size, because it's grain dependent, but also critical shear stress erosion. You can find a empirical function like for Soulsby. I think, Rashid show us some scheme to find the relation between critical shear stress erosion and the grain size itself. And that's it. In this slide, I didn't mention. I didn't mention. It's only for. I don't talk about for population or consolidation, because if you are doing that, you can do that, but if you do that, it means that you take account of the sediment the non-cohesive sediment behavior. So in this case, I don't talk about all the parameters of the name list. We're talking about bed consolidation and flocculation, because there are many. But now I will show you more application. I will split on different kind of study, like wave current interaction and morphodynamics. So I put there the sandbar test cases and also realistic test cases on Vietnam, Hoi An. So I split depending of which kind of processes you want to do. Sandbar. So this is analytical test cases implemented. You can switch on the CPDF file. The idea there is to predict sandbar migration depending of if you are under storm or post-storm condition. So the idea is there on the right. You see like a delta flume is like 300-meter long, and then there is Delft, is in Delft, yes, in Netherlands, and you can there create some waves on the boundary, and you can do some experiments in there to, like we are just seeing in like the sandbar migration. So there are two kind of experiment, like for LMP1B erosion for erosion. This is the key. The key you have to activate on the CPPDF file, but also for accretion. Yeah, and I put there are different way to force the model. I mean the model. If you want to force the model with waves, there are two kind of models. There is simply WKB wave model, monochromatic. So it's wave statistic. It's like a period. You have to put on the name list like period and significant height, and you force the boundary, and then using the wave current interaction, they will the result is it give a different stress at the bottom. And we will see on the next slide what happened. And there's another kind of wave forcing. It's wave maker also for non-interstic mode, but I don't talk about that more. So right now I'm using WKB. I forced first at T0 I've initialized beach profile there, and next 18 hours, yeah, we forced the boundary with we forced the WKB wave model with this wave statistic. So we have these parameters. So it's for high energy waves, and the experiment show us that we have a migration of the bar. So you look, it's in dot there at initial time. There you have migration on the model. The model is black, and the red is the result for the fume, the observation data. Okay, so we see like a migration offshore, the offshore migration. So mean that we have an erosion. I put also the number of DIN. It's interesting number because depending of the parameter statistic, I mean the statistic of waves you put and the settling velocity of grain size you define, it gives information of which kind of process you are. So it could be erosion or could be also accretion. So for high number, you have erosion, And it's according to the result, we have also a revision, so it's great. Then 13 hours, we do another experiment, but this time with different wave statistic, with low energy waves, and we have different kind of processes like accretion with onshore migration of sandbar. And this slide I show some different results on the fuel. So we see that in this erosion experiment, it fit well with undertow, with observation in the dot. But also you see the bottom correlation, it's correlated with resuspended material. So it's fine. And there is an application also, we are talking about sandbar, but also there is in Vietnam, on the east of Vietnam, on the Hoi An, there were an experiment did with CROCO. So here we have a result from CROCO. So it's high resolution, very close to the. Here it's a river, okay. So I don't know the resolution, but I think it's a big one. And you see the interaction between waves and the sandbar at the bottom. So here actually it's a bed thickness. So it means that it's the thickness of the material you have. And if you compare with observation on the left, we observe like a sandbar formation. So this is observation on the left. You see that in 20 years, the river there creates a sandbar in this part. Yeah, and but I wondering you don't see my mouse. No. Okay, so I show some things in my mouse in my computer, but you don't see anything. Okay, anyway. But you have to see on the left, so you can see the scheme. So where is written 3 is next 20 years, okay? And so it's corresponding to it fit well with the simulation. So with one kind of application. Another thing, it's the study of sediment pool, as Rashid talked before, in estuary environments, depending of tides of runoff forcing. In this case, we have as I said, the analytical text case estuary. So in this case, I put the Mustang model result. So the main idea is to see the capacity of the model to represent estuarine processes, sediment pool, and we see that we have a convergence of sediment at the middle of the domain. So here we have the configuration of like something like 500 meter resolution, and I show you the bathymetry. And then on the next slide, yes, and you see the sign. We put some forcing with tide on the west boundary. So we initialize also with low sediment water, with fraction different with dependent of it fits sand or mud. So we have two kind of grain side. So 40% for sand, 60 for mud. We also initialize our runoff with sediment with 50 milligram per liter of concentration. And I put below as I said on the name is CROCO, you can specify your what concentration you want to give. So you don't see my mouse, but if you look at the T source column, it means that we are in this experiment. We are using like a 10. The temperature is 10 degrees, no salinity, and we initialize with mud. It means that the tracer 2 is a fourth column, and so that's it. So what happened? Well, so we see that so on the first at the top you have the zeta, so related to the tidal cycles, and you see that next you see this cycle, okay? You see also an asymmetry as an asymmetry depending of the if its tide is rising or it's in relative phase. Related to this, you have a stress different. And what happened schematically on the at below, and we have the concentration of mud next one day, and you see that we have a sediment pool created in the middle of the domain, on the middle of the estuary. And so in the next, I don't think it's a video. Oh, it works. Right. Something works. So this is animation, thanks to Solène Legac. She gave me this video of what I just show you. So you see right now, yeah, the sediment pool on the middle of the domain, and it's still it stay on the middle during the experiment. There is also an heuristic application related to estuary. Also, thanks to Solène, it's a CROCO Mustang application. The resolution is 100 meters. For people who this is the Seine, is a river. The river who pass from Paris.
But if you had we've got to reconnect the presentation, just give us a minute, please. Thank you. the screen in presentation mode.
Okay, right. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Ah. Okay, sorry. Maybe it's you. It's a big video for Australia. Big blow up.
Sorry. There you go. Problem now is that people aren't going to see it there. That's the right.
Okay, sorry. Well, so sorry. Yeah, so sorry. So as I said, this is a REST application for estuary from Seine. So Seine is a river who passes to Paris city. So this is a kind of application we can do with CROCO, with Mustang also. The next subject, if you want to access the sediment budget. This is an example from CROCO also, Mustang, with high resolution on the Bay of Biscay. The idea on this slide is to show how they validate the result from CROCO. So below you have the model, and on the top you have Modis product. Okay, in different seasons. So on the left on July, on the right on November. So and also as I said before, here is the surface, the concentration at the surface. So you have to compare with the right variable of also given by Modis. So now we have this fit well. We have good result. Mekong. Sorry, I'm go quick. This is the Mekong configuration. So Mekong quick on the right, it's on the south of Vietnam. The south of Vietnam. So yeah, so it's a big river. I think it's the 10th biggest river of the world. actually in the configuration designed by Patrick Macchizello, he use different kind of grain size. So you have 200 micrometer, but also 20 micrometers. So this kind is more silt or mud. So in this experiment, you have two kind of grain size, so mud and sand. And the main idea there in this region is to see the redistribution of all the sediment given by Mekong River, and to see how the hydrodynamic, like waves, tides, and this interaction will redistribute all the material on the region. Okay. So so the idea there is to do like big CROCO simulation. So you have a wave tide and CROCO forcings. So you will have some information on the bed thickness, and then you can, as you can see below, you have the erosion. You can estimate the net flux from CROCO on the coastline. So here it's erosion and the million ton per year. So in red mean that is erosion, and blue deposition. Okay. So the mass it works good. So it's maybe intuitive on the region nearby the river mouth. You have a deposition there because of the hydrodynamic and the size of also the material. And we can see also there an erosion processes here in the peninsula of Kao, and there are more deposition. And this I will show you on the next slide. Originally, but it is explained actually on the paper from Patrick Macchizello that it shows that we have a displacement of the peninsula southward in this direction. Yeah. I'll show you in the next slide, but in this one, yes, we have a comparison with Landsat product. So here is not the same unit, but it gives an idea. So we have a shoreline changes. So you have like a correlation in the two. I mean, it fits well in this region. We observe also like a deposition. Yeah. In this slide, as I said, the information of flux on the coast is the same information, but on the in this scheme. So you have a long short distance and the net deposition information. So it's nothing more there. The big pattern of erosion and also the deposition there. And as I said, from the Camo Peninsula to the push the peninsula to the southwest. Another thing also explained on the paper is in this part. Here is a big city of Saigon. And what happened there? We should see more deposition. But no, and possibly it's possibly due by Vietnamese dam, by the way. So it's a kind of diagnostic you can have. I put now some example from ROMS. So ROMS, in an introduction, CROCO come from ROMS. And actually, the USGS model come from also the same framework. So it's just to give you some information and diagnostic what can be done with different places. This is a Massachusetts Bay. In the first picture there, this is a bottom stress, and the right the bathymetry. So we see that there is an increase of orbital velocity due by wave. The idea there, I don't explain that. The idea there is it was to repeat multiple idealized storm event, and to see the idea there is it was to see how how they can generate resuspension. And if you want to recreate the pattern, the different pattern you have, here we have like a bank, Stellwagen bank, and here is a model, and we see that we have a correlation between bottom stress and this pattern, for example, and it fits well with the grain. The grain size we observe there. So it's one of the diagnostic, and the other one is also the same or ROMS but with USGS. This one is from Balaseol also. The previous one was from Warner. I forgot to talk about it, but yes, this region is from Los Angeles, with Santa Monica there, and San Pedro Bay. And you can see on the left the percentage of time. In this place, you have a strong influence of waves. And you can see with this diagnostic is a percentage of time what you have the stress due by waves is more than the threshold you put on your name list, remember. So meaning that if it's more than the threshold, you will put more material on the column of wave, more erosion. So and with the same variable of bed thickness, you can diagnostic the change between. I mean, for a long period. It starts maybe in 2001, but I don't know. I don't remember the last date. But anyway, you can see the evolution of bed thickness, and you have some information of net erosion in this region. And yeah, and this is the kind of diagnostic you can do, yes, with USGS module, but also Mustang module. And I think it is the last one, yes. So sorry for the problem, the crash of my computer, but also there was no mouse at the beginning. I mean, but anyway, yes. You have.
I wonder if there are any questions online. If there are any questions online, please do either raise your hand or post it directly in the chat. I can stop sharing. Look at the screen. There's a question from Enzo. Can we put in a case without river runoff?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we got yeah, sure, but you have to initialize your domain. as my wonderful scheme, you can initialize with your with a 2D information. You put a different fraction of each sediment, and that's it. It depends on which kind of region. And also, if you, I was talking about Mekong River. It could be a pity to don't put the sediment from the river because it's a large load of sediment there. No, it depends of the region and depend also of the what you the quantity of sediment you think you will have there on your river.
Mm. Are there any more questions? Any questions? No problem.
That you shared the one,
Sorry.
they were analytical pieces.
Yeah.
So, the other case, the spread that you showed, the one that you had, an estuary, right? The crossing with the tides in the open garden, right, into the ocean. Then you specify the runoff in terms of the volume and then the concentration. And then you mentioned that there's no salinity. Or is it like there's no, like what you mentioned that the salinity and temperature.
So the test case is made by this, but no. I mean, for the river, yeah.
Yes.
You can put different salinity value to the.
So in the test case, later on so to me now when you want to go to real cases, you will have to for the volume transport, you have to get the extra visual transport, like the mean volume. And so for the concentration, it could get to one can just come up with this and really measure it.
Right, there was some measurement. You as well as was situation.
And in terms of the so for example, if one wants to represent area, know what happens to the sediment testing that happens to the ocean. So what would be the way information that it's just the global that's like some right? But what about the hydrocarbons? And for example, the currents, the distribution.
The case, yeah, the vibration of the coastline will be able to full vibration. Maybe short of the span should be paid. So we have two guys, so we don't have to start, and then we need to avoid more waste. So it's not here, but in trees are made for, in there, we don't have